Hi there, welcome to the latest episode of my 10-minute moan. And the topic of this 10-minute moan is the SNP's school sex survey from 4 years ago. The data from it is now available to outside agencies. Now this started 4 years ago when the 32 councils in Scotland were given a sex survey for school children. And there was a bit of a fuss about it. People weren't wanting it, weren't happy with it. So much so that half the councils failed to offer it to their pupils, where the other half did. There was guarantees given that the data would not be shared with anyone, not even teachers, so the kids could give their answers in full secrecy. However, there was a button on it when you done the survey that asked you to opt out of your information being shared, which is actually against regulations. The government regulations quite clearly state that everybody should automatically be opt out of sharing information, and the only choice you should be given would be to opt in. So that even the way the survey was conducted in 2021 was completely against the norms and what should have been happened with this. However, they reckon 130,000 school children done the survey, and their data now has been offered to outside bodies 4 years later. The survey itself was that crazy that half the councils refused to use it. But the ones that did were Angus, Clackmannanshire, Dumfries and Galloway, Dundee, East Renfrewshire, Edinburgh, Falkirk, Glasgow, Moray, North Ayrshire, Perth and Kinross, Renfrewshire, Scottish Borders, Shetland, South Ayrshire and Stirling. So 130,000 kids were asked questions that went from, what was your last sexual encounter? Was it oral? Was it anal? Was it vaginal? And these things are bonkers. And now, the parents were kicking up fuss then, but today some are kicking up even more of a fuss. And there's a bit in the BBC Scotland website where campaigners and etc. should, have been asked for their feedback on it. And one of the questions asked, people have varying degrees of sexual experience. How much, if any, sexual experiences have you had? We were asking children of 14 and 15 that question. Goes on further to ask, did you use a condom in the most recent time that you had penetrative sex? Some parents found out that their children took part without their knowledge, but when they asked to have their data scrubbed, they were told it wasn't possible. So there's a Sonia, a parent from east of Scotland, who did not want to be identified, told the BBC she had grave concerns about the way children's data was gathered and how it was being shared. A lot of parents didn't even know their children participated in it. The children participated, none of them with active parental consent, and many parents never received letters about it. They never opened the email, or the letter is crumbled at the bottom of a school bag. Sonia said the health and wellbeing census had not initially sounded risky or sensitive. Even the name, it was health and wellbeing. And it wouldn't let parents see questions. That's bonkers. I think once we're starting to keep secrets from parents and secrets from children, we're not asking parents to actively consent, and we create a whole new level of risk, and we start to break trusts between schools and parents. Well, I would take it further. I would say break the trust of governments, because it wasn't the schools that decided that they wanted to do this. This was the government that pushed this. So that was 4 years ago. And now, even on a public available, I would hope it's down now, website, you can get access to this data if you're doing any research on it. Now let me just find the bit about the consent. Right. The data has now been offered publicly to external researchers via a website, Research Data Scotland. Now this charity itself was created by the Scottish Government in 2021 with the stated aim of making it easier to access data around health and well-being. So it's completely bonkers what's happened here. So the Scottish Government set up this thing. The Scottish Government, created hell for a load of people. 5 years later, everybody's kind of forgot about it, and now we find the Scottish Government created charity is now offering the data to people, external people doing research on it. What sort of government do we have that want to even know? Now, what have we done with 4 years, right? Just people in the government going, oh, there we go, we've got loads of 14-year-olds having penetrative sex, anal sex, oral sex. What was the purpose of it in the first place? What have you done with it for 4 years? And now you're saying to outsiders, here we go, these kids will be 19 and 20 now. You might not be too comfortable with people having all this access to their data. And if I say, oh, well, they couldn't be identified, well, kind of could, because actually other things like authenticity, religion, etc. So if you're in a small school and somebody has that data, well, I remember that person. That's got to be such and such. Oh, they were having sex when they were 14. This is horrific. The Scottish Government should be bloody ashamed of themselves. Yet again, perverts that don't know what to do with information. Why would anybody want to get 120, 130,000 kids details about their sexual experiences? It's absolutely frightening. Where could this end? Do you know what I mean? How do we know who's going to eventually get access to this data and all these kids' details and their sexual encounters? It's absolutely horrific. We should be ashamed of ourselves. I don't know where we go from here. I mean, there's got to be comeback for this, because even the UK Information Commission, their office guidelines quite clearly say there is no such thing as opt-out consent. You can opt in. That's a thing. So even if there was an opt-out and you didn't tick it, you should be opted out as default. You should need to give consent to opt in for your details to be shared with others. But the mere fact that the survey took place under the guise of well-being, when it's sex that we're asking questions about, it's absolutely horrific. So I don't know what happens now, but there's got to be somebody somewhere ultimately responsible for A, this thing happening in the first place, B, the way the thing was conducted, and see what's happened since with the data that they've been sitting on for 4 or 5 years. Horrific. If you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up. If you've not already done so, please hit the subscribe and the notifications bell. Let me know your comments below, please, and your feedback. And, most important of all, as long as you're not some deviant that would enjoy the information that these people have given, no you, but
everyone else, have a great day. Cheerio, bye now.